My name is Rudy Humphrey. I'm the Educational Program Leader for Performative, the largest online community for corporate finance, accounting, treasury, and related professionals. I'd like to welcome everyone to today's webinar, How Cloud Finance Solutions Transform the Strategic Value of Accountants. For successful accountants, their relationships with small and growing business clients or within their company's accounting and finance teams is key to their success. Improving their clients' or company's financial performance, delivering better financial advice, and helping them to make better and faster decisions is at the heart of the strategic value they offer. Today we'll hear from two experienced accountants who will discuss how they have delivered strategic value across the enterprise at their clients by advising and leading their clients' transitions to a cloud-based accounting solution. They will also share the questions they've had to answer, challenges they were able to overcome, and the opportunities they were able to unlock and identify for their clients. I would like to thank NetSuite, whose commitment to thought leadership helps us make this webinar possible and delivered at no cost. A quick note on today's agenda. First, we'll hear a brief presentation from each of our three featured speakers. Then we'll move to our interactive Q&A session where we'll spend the remainder of our hour. We would like this to be an interactive experience for you. So if you have any questions at any time, please go to the questions area and you go to our control panel and send us your questions. We can't promise to get all of them in, but we'll do our best and we'll follow up afterwards on any questions we did not get to. A few logistical notes about the webinar. A link to today's presentation and video recording of the webinar will be sent out to all attendees within 24 hours of the event. Please note that the presentation is already posted at www.performative.com/resources for free download. Those who would like CPE credits will need to answer all polling questions during the event and should have pre-registered for CPE credit. For any questions on CPE credits, please send an email to cpe@performative.com. Again, we encourage you to ask questions on today's topic via the questions box in your go-to area control panel at any time during the webinar. Finally, you'll be asked to take a short survey regarding the webinar today. We greatly appreciate your feedback regarding our event today as we strive to improve the ROI we offer our events attendees for their valuable time. A quick word about Performative. Performative is the largest online community and resource for senior-level corporate finance, accounting, treasury, and related leaders. Performative connects corporate finance leaders to provide instant advice on insights on the tough financial and strategic challenges they face every day. Let's get started by introducing our first speaker, Vishru Parikh. Vishru brings over 15 years of experience in enterprise software applications, including compensation management, incentive compensation, sales performance management, CPM, and ERP. Vishru currently serves as a Director of Product Marketing at NetSuite, where he focuses on driving NetSuite penetration into large enterprise customers. Prior to NetSuite, he worked at Calidus Software. He was responsible for its flagship incentive compensation product strategy and roadmap. He also played a key role in Calidus Software's transformation to a SaaS solution provider from an on-premise solution provider. At Siebel, now Oracle, Vishru worked on the incentive compensation solution, consulting with Fortune 500 companies on deployment strategy and plan. He is an experienced strategist, having launched new products, implemented solutions, and enabled channel partners to better grow their business. With that, it is my distinct pleasure to hand the floor over to Vishru. Vishru, please take it away for us.
It is not surprising that cloud is gaining momentum. The Cloud Accounting Institute conducted a national survey of financial and accounting professionals concerning their current and intended future use of cloud solutions. The findings were pretty straightforward. The number of respondents currently using cloud solutions has increased in the past year from 52% in 2012 to 75%. And this is a trend that we see here at NetSuite as well. What is driving this cloud adoption? Simple question. The cloud popularity and adoption have increased significantly over the past 5 years because buyers are under tremendous pressure to lower operational costs, driving their search for less capital-intensive alternatives and more modern software. It's encouraging buyers to look elsewhere. They're looking for solutions that are going to lower their operating costs as well as CapEx that they need to put into buy a solution. A recent Gartner report finds software as a service or cloud shows no sign of decline. The main reasons that they cited are cloud computing lowers the total cost of ownership and compared to the on-premise software. In fact, the cloud-based solution can have TCO of up to 77% less than a comparable on-premise solution. It is faster to deploy. Companies with limited resources are looking for ways to cut their IT costs. With cloud, they don't need to worry about managing servers, upgrades, purchase their hardware, etc. The cloud provider, the vendor, they take care of that, such as NetSuite. We take care of all the upgrades, and we take care of all the hardware. You don't need to, our clients, our customers do not need to purchase any hardware. The third finding was that for companies with international operations, offices, distribution centers, it is best alternative. Why? Because they don't need to put IT boots on ground in any country that they are operating under. They can do centralized management of their solution from headquarters. Why accountants should embrace this cloud solution? According to a survey results released by AICPA, nearly 40% of CPA see themselves as catalysts for their clients adopting innovative technologies such as cloud computing and mobile devices. With a solution like NetSuite or any cloud solution, anyone in a company only has to log in once. With cloud, you know the data is always there, and you only need internet connection to get to your data. If you need to know something about something now regarding your client's business, it's easy for you to check quickly from anywhere and not miss a beat, even if you are not in the office. This allows you to serve your client the best. Here's an example of the kind of dashboard that my company, NetSuite's finance department team, use here at NetSuite. They use this to monitor and manage company's performance. And you may be surprised to hear that we achieve this without any integration. We spend no time in integrating multiple solutions. It's all there. The best part of having the solution in cloud is that your client can share dashboards such as these with you by giving you login credentials. There is no need to email large files. They can export into Excel. Give you a FTP file site access. There's no need for that. There's no VPN connection required. All you need is a credential to log into your client solution, and you have access to dashboards such as this. In addition to this, this provides real-time visibility across the key drivers for business, so you can guide your client appropriately. It's no longer the data. This data is no longer old. The data that the client is looking at, that's the same data that you have access to with cloud solution. In addition to this, here's another example of what a detailed AR aging summary looks like. Again, this can be made available to you by your client. You have access to the same data as your client. This eliminates confusion and error attributed to manual processes. The question that we get asked most is that is cloud safe? According to a same survey done by AICPA, also identified the greatest concern around adopting cloud. Asked what they see as the biggest barrier to adopting or expanding cloud technologies, more than 60% of the survey respondents pointed to security concerns. So how do you overcome that? How do you guide your client? How do you make sure that you are convinced that the data is safe? By making sure the vendor is certified, their application and data centers by international standards such as ISO 27001. If the certification is there, you can pretty much guarantee that the data is safe. Another international certification that you should look for in a vendor is a safe harbor, US and EU. Once they have that, you know that the international standards are met by the data center and the solution provider to make sure your data is safe and a secure solution. And again, EU Safe Harbor, and then PCI. If the client is doing a payment over the web, then Payment Card Industry Type 1 merchant solution provides security that the solution is secure and safe. And lastly, AICPA SOC 1 Type 2 audit compliance. Once you have that, the data is safe, and then the report that is produced by the solution can meet the Sarbanes-Oxley compliant. They are Sarbanes-Oxley compliant. You need to look for, once you have this certification from the vendor, you can be pretty much sure the solution that they're offering is safe and secure. Jeffrey Moore on cloud. He says collaboration is changing It's not cheating. It's how you get things done. And the new paradigm is not individualist or hierarchical, but collaborative. Wireless and cloud technologies are the next generation of technology coming out of school in collaboration. Culture is that way you get things done. Collaboration is the way of the future, basically. You have to collaborate with your client, and the technology that enables you to do that are mobile and cloud technology. So companies are moving towards this type of technology to ensure they collaborate with their customers as well as their employees within their own company. Yeah, the other thing is, I mean, cloud benefits. I mean, we have been talking about why cloud. The benefits are straightforward. You don't need to for small to medium-sized companies. They do not need to invest money into hardware. They don't need to worry about how many licenses do they need up front. Cloud enables pay-as-you-go model, meaning that if your company is growing, you can add licenses or users later on. You don't need to purchase them up front. It's secure, as we talked about all the validation and certification that you need. If once the vendor has a certification, it's secure. And everything is moving to cloud. It's no longer a fad. It's moving to cloud. It's readily available, meaning you can access the data from anywhere at any time and be able to serve your client. This is an amazing flexibility that you have, that you can get data in real time from anywhere. And cloud is mature. It's no longer a fad. I mean, large companies are moving to cloud, and they're realizing the benefit it offers as compared to the on-premise solution, where they need to maintain the solution, they need to constantly upgrade. The upgrades become very expensive, and what is happening is that IT money that they have allocated, IT budget goes in upgrading, just keeping the lights on, as opposed to benefiting from the innovation that the vendor has put out, because you no longer have time or resources to leverage the new features. You spend most of the time in upgrading and maintaining the solution. And where I live in Silicon Valley, there aren't that many companies, or there aren't any company with on-premise solutions that are getting funded. It's all about cloud. That's the future. So let's talk about the accountant program. Like, what is it? What is the accountant program? What it is that typically the accountant program are designed exclusively for accountants eager to tap the power of cloud computing to provide best possible service to their client running their financials in cloud, such as NetSuite, for example. For example, NetSuite accountant program has reached over 1,000 accountant members. Accountants in this program can access their clients' critical business information remotely to collaborate in real time, providing end-to-end business visibility and single version of truth, helping to accelerate financial close times and improve revenue recognition, all at no charge. So accountants can have access to the data that the clients have. They don't need to be in the office. They can be productive wherever they are, and they have a remote login to their client. And data that they're looking at is the same data that clients have. It provides an amazing platform for collaboration. How does it benefit? What is the typical benefit? I mean, the key benefit of the program is the customers with accountant in the program get fast, convenient access to dependable financial services from their professionals familiar with their system, meaning that you are able to serve your client in a reliable way and fast when they need it. It's no longer that you have to go to their office, or they need to FTP the files to you, or they need to send you email via large files. You can provide the guidance and the service that they need remotely. It eliminates the need for emailing and sending documents. You don't need to use that. Eliminate the issue of working zip files and firewalls. As we all know, those can be issued if the company has a very strict security requirement. You cannot send out emails, and firewall protects them. It's a quick turnaround. You can offer your client quick turnaround. You can look at the data online and give them guidance as they need. Clients can also review the tax returns beforehand. So you also don't need to send them back the tax return. They can just take a look at it online. And able to drill down from financial statement all the way to the invoice. That's a great ability that solutions like NetSuite can provide, where you can walk through if there's some questions that you may have, or clients are questioning something, you can work with them, collaborate with them, and resolve this issue in real time. At this point, I'm going to hand over to Arnie with the first polling question.
Okay, thank you very much, Vijay, for that great content. We just launched our first of 3 polling questions. As a reminder, those of you in the audience after CE credit today, you'll need to answer all the polling questions during the webinar. Of course, we appreciate everyone's consideration in answering our polling questions. Time permitting, we might review the result of the polling questions and get some comments from our speakers during the Q&A session. Again, we encourage you to please ask questions on today's topic via the questions area in your GoToWebinar control panel. We'll go ahead and leave the polling question up for another 20 seconds or so. As we wind that down, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our next speaker, Barry Bowes, CEO, Back Office. Barry has over 25 years' experience as an accountant, controller, and CFO with extensive experience in project management and leading business growth initiatives. Barry has worked with for-profit businesses and nonprofit organizations to implement and leverage cloud-based financial systems to drive efficiencies in top-line company growth. Barry is a longtime certified management accountant, has a diploma from Niagara College in Business Accounting. With that, I'm going to go ahead and close our poll. And it is my distinct pleasure to hand the floor over to Barry Bowes. Barry, please take it away for us.
Thank you, Ernie, very much, and everyone else for attending. On the next slide here, we're going to get into the economics of cloud computing. And with a lot of accounting firms, sometimes you have to travel to your clients, and other times, of course, your clients have to travel to you. With cloud computing, travel time and costs are eliminated or reduced, so an accountant can be more productive and bill more hours. Always, of course, accountants wanting to bill hours, as is other professionals too. We can work with multiple clients in the same hour. For example, this morning I received an email from one of our clients, and I was able to log into their cloud-based accounting system, view the issue, and actually send them an email back, fix the issue, and send them an email probably all within half an hour. So that saved the travel time, saved the client's time, and most importantly, the client got their answer very quickly. Traditionally, clients need to book face-to-face meetings with accountants, and therefore would only book once a year at tax deadline in some cases. And again, it's very hard to just meet with a client once a year and provide them with good tax planning and tax advice. Accountants had a difficult time providing CFO, bookkeeping, and related services in person. However, these issues disappear with cloud computing. Accountants typically are into audits, tax returns, tax planning, other strategic value, but they had not as easy a time as providing services within a client's office on the accounting task. So cloud computing opens up that whole area of new revenues. When you're leveraging technology, you can do so on the cloud, and the old technology that all of us accountants used in the past was considered a cost center. Our clients typically felt that us as accountants were costs that we had to pay just to get our tax returns out the door, and that was of little to no value to the clients because they didn't understand the value that we were providing to them. So now with cloud computing, we can deliver strategic value on a pay-as-you-go basis, available anytime, anywhere, so that when the client needs some advice and wants to gain some value from us, they can do that anytime, anywhere. They don't have to wait for the yearly meeting. They can do it pretty much immediately. What cloud computing does is allows accountants to truly become the trusted advisor and deliver strategic value. Decades ago, accountants started this way with being the trusted advisor, similar to a lawyer and other close associates of a business owner. But over time, over the decades, other trusted advisors have stepped into that position with these clients, and we as accountants need to find ways to, again, become the trusted advisor to our clients. And it's hard to do, again, if we're meeting once or a few times a year, and it's hard to do if we're basically providing tax planning and tax return services. So the cloud opens up all of that. And then for accountants that focus on audits and tax work, cloud computing opens up these related opportunities. Now getting into a case study, right hands-on, let's jump right in. We've worked remotely with a company in another country, so not in the USA, another country, and was able, and obviously was not able to do this under a traditional accountant role, but through the cloud, we were able to log into their cloud-based accounting system, locate $100,000 plus in unreconciled expenses, and were able to dramatically reduce their taxes. They wouldn't have found that if they didn't have our types of services. And again, when accountants are typically doing tax returns, and that sometimes they take what management and the company give them and produce the tax returns off of that. And because of billing rates, because of cost constraints, that's the way traditionally in the past it's been done. But also, as a second point, we've helped companies reconcile up to 4 years of bank reconciliations within tight deadlines and at a lower cost, and then continued on with reconciliations at low cost. Traditionally, accountants have had a hard time delivering routine bookkeeping and related services to clients. And with cloud computing, you can actually open up that area and start to provide services in the bookkeeping realm, which were previously not possible to make any profits on. And this just shows, the graphic image just shows bank reconciliations, and the differences on the far right is when we see clients that have differences like this, which we haven't worked with in the past, and they become a new customer of ours. This difference column on the right is our bread and butter to start off with, to reconcile those differences to zero and to get their financials, especially their balance sheet, cash balances, much more in order, and then work on other processes in the background. We've also helped clients to optimize sales to cash and procure to pay systems in the cloud so that the client can be more efficient and productive. For example, we can have regular meetings with clients to review specific issues that need resolution now and not just once a year, such as tax returns. And this graphic image just shows, for example, a little bit of a snapshot of an accounts receivable system that can show which companies have an overdue balance and what some notes were from our accounts receivable staff as to the last follow-up. And it can really help quickly determine which accounts to collect on. It can save a large amount of time. And as I mentioned with cloud computing, we as accountants can then have regular web meetings with our clients, daily, weekly, monthly, to review specific issues that need resolution now and not annually. And again, because as Vishru mentioned so well earlier, we can be in a more collaborative environment and form a culture where clients just want us to get things done. And for us to get things done, if we have a more daily, weekly, monthly interaction with the clients, we can actually get things done and done very well with a quick turnaround. Another specific use case is there was a CEO and owner of a business that was busy, and that's very typical and very usual for small and mid-sized growing companies. And this CEO was not available to meet with us as their accounting firm, and was therefore, because we were just new to them, we weren't their trusted advisor yet. So they tried to gain value, before they came to back office, they tried to gain value from their bookkeeper, which, as you can imagine, bookkeepers sometimes are not trained enough to provide the accounting level services. And the CEO of the company didn't always want to run to their year-end tax accountant because of the fees that they thought were a cost center. So they had a very big gap there between a bookkeeper and the CPA accountant at the end of the year, and they needed to fill it with a trusted advisor. So now the CEO and owner of the company can meet with us as the accounting firm for as little as 15 to 30 minutes remotely and deal with high-level issues, which helps the accountant achieve trusted advisor status, not only at the year end, but anytime, anywhere. And with more specific value added to the client with each interaction, the CEO owner starts to rely heavily on the accountant, and therefore value and billings increase. So the more value our clients start to see from us on a very regular interaction with the mobile cloud, the more easily these clients are able to see value that we can provide, and of course importantly to our checkbooks is to pay our billings very easily, and they're not an invoice typical of a tax return. A tax return, again, is seen to be as a cost center. It's seen to be as a cost, but an invoice from a cloud accounting firm, clients can typically see that it's more of a value that they're paying for instead of a cost. Thank you very much for your time, and I'll pass it back to Ernie.
Thank you very much, Barry, for your great content and insights. It's now my pleasure to introduce our final speaker, Christopher Hansel, CPA and partner, Hansel & Associates. Christopher currently serves as partner with Hansel & Associates, LLP, a CPA and business consulting firm based in the San Francisco Bay Area. Christopher has extensive experience using cloud-based accounting ERP software and advising clients on implementing and leveraging these solutions to deliver strategic value. Prior to joining Hansel & Associates, Chris spent 8 years at PwC. During his tenure at PwC, he led several implementations of business processing controls and application security on large-scale SAP implementations. Christopher holds a Bachelor of Commerce degree from McGill University with a double major in Accounting and Management Information Systems. He also holds a graduate diploma in accounting from McGill University, is a member of both Canadian Institute of Chartered Accountants and the American Institute of Public Accountants. With that, it is my distinct pleasure to hand the floor over to Christopher Hansel. Christopher, please go ahead and take it away for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ernie, and welcome everybody. Oops, I skipped over one there. How do I get back one? There we go. Okay, so I wanted to talk about a little bit of how we are using cloud-based solutions internally and externally as a firm. And we're almost entirely cloud-based at this point, and here are some of our primary functions, and they include remote bookkeeping, accounting for clients, which generally we want to do on an ongoing or monthly basis, although with some clients we are still doing quarterly and annually. But fortunately the cloud allows us to move towards a less seasonal practice by having access to our clients' books ongoing. We are able to do sales tax compliance. Since we have real-time access to our clients' data, we can actually download data from their system, crunch numbers, organize it in a way where we can prepare sales tax returns on a timely basis. We also do income tax compliance that same way. We run client payrolls using a cloud-based system, and we can add value to our clients by preparing reports, data analysis on an ongoing basis, including budgeting, complex sales analysis. And internally, we use cloud-based solutions for our own internal accounting, CRM, and payroll. So one thing about external accounts especially is that in the past, they have always recommended solutions that they're used to using. And if you're not already, as an external account, if you're not already using some sort of cloud-based solution, it's not a matter of when you should move, it's a matter of, or whether you're going to move, it's a matter of when you're going to move. Because if you're not already thinking about it, or if you haven't already made the jump, you're sort of behind the 8 ball at this point. Everyone is moving that way. It's just a matter of time. So in terms of what types of companies we see moving there, these are the ones that are probably low-hanging fruit, because realistically, any small to mid-sized company, it's just a matter of time before they're using a cloud-based solution. It just makes so much more sense. Larger companies, a little bit of a different story, but small and mid-sized companies, just a matter of time. Now, the low-hanging fruit for us in the past has been entities with multiple locations, professional services, and the reason why I say that is because inventory management has been an area where there's more complexity, and that's taken a little bit more time to get some good solutions. on the cloud side. Clients that need access to data anytime from anywhere, and your e-commerce entities. To give a brief case study, we've had a couple of situations like this, but one that I can think of offhand that was quite recent was we had a client that acquired multiple legal entities in several different countries, and they needed some local resources to perform some of the bookkeeping functionalities where they needed to write checks or do some light bookkeeping entry, but they wanted the U.S. parent to have access to their books real time to be able to do the heavy lifting in terms of monthly closing, monthly consolidation. And we looked at several solutions that were both on-premises and in the cloud. The on-premises solutions would have been just 10 to 15 times the cost of a cloud-based solution. So it became very apparent pretty quickly that moving to the cloud was the only way for them to function going forward. And by doing that, they were able to have real-time access to the books of each foreign subsidiary and were able to perform most of the heavy lifting from using the existing accounting staff in the U.S. And this meant that we could do the close within a reasonable amount of time. We didn't have to rely on the local resources to make sure that things were getting done timely and quickly according to the close schedule. By doing that, we were able to keep most of the accounting staff in the U.S. and some of the functions, like I said, that were needed to be performed locally were generally light functions like printing and signing checks, and those could be done without hiring necessarily local bookkeepers or high-priced accountants. So we were able to avoid not only the cost of IT in each local market, but also the cost of some higher-level accounting people in each local market. We were able to do it all from the U.S., which is sort of a good story in terms of what's typically been happening with outsourcing. Okay, thank you very much. With that, I'll turn it back to Ernie.
Oh, thank you very much for your great content, Chris. With that, I'm going to go ahead, as we tee up our Q&A session, I'm going to go ahead and launch our second polling question. Again, for those of you in the audience after CPE credit, you'll need to answer all the polling question, and of course, we appreciate everyone's consideration in answering the polling question. So I'm going to go ahead and kick off the Q&A session. Before I do that, again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask those during the questions area. In your GoToWebinar control panel, we have a great opportunity to access the great knowledge of our speakers here today. So I'd like to direct the first question to Visroot. What are you seeing in terms of the latest cloud adoption trends in terms of company size and industries?
Thank you, Ernie. So what we are seeing at NetSuite here is definitely like the small to medium-sized companies. Cloud is their first choice of software or solution. They don't even consider on-premise at all. They just evaluate cloud solution because the very reason that we just discussed over the last half an hour is that it's very easy for them to adopt that. They don't need to buy hardware. They don't need to have an IT department, huge IT department. And the pay-as-you-go model is very attractive. They don't need to lay out upfront money for the licenses that they don't even know if they need it. If they're growing, then they can add users as they go along. So for small to medium-sized companies, it's a no-brainer. They go with cloud and eliminate all the hassles of on-premise software, for example. And we are also seeing large enterprises moving to cloud as well. As Chris was just saying, that if you have international subsidiaries and if you either acquire new businesses or you're expanding your business into new countries, it becomes pretty expensive for you to use on-premise solution to expand. So large enterprises already would have a ERP or financial solution at headquarters on-premise, for example. But if they're expanding it internationally, they don't want to replicate the same infrastructure in countries where they don't have IT resources available. So it becomes that they standardize on cloud solution for the subsidiary, for example. Or if they're doing mergers or acquisitions and they want to standardize all the companies that they might have acquired over the last couple of years, they standardize on cloud. So that's the trend that we are seeing. As far as the industries are concerned, it's all over. I mean, every single industry, obviously the high-tech and software, they are the earliest adopter of cloud because they are in that high-tech environment. But now we are seeing wholesale distributors, manufacturing companies moving to cloud because they all are realizing the benefit of not worrying about the upgrades, not maintaining the software, and having them focus on their core business as opposed to the IT that is not their core competency.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Next question, I'll direct to both our accountants, but I'll start with Barry. Can you give us a sense, again, and just to make this point clear if you made it already, what are the key drivers that are causing your clients to move to the cloud?
Yeah, some of the key drivers, as was mentioned in the past, costs, definitely traditional costs of an accountant are getting too large for the small and growing companies in the small and medium-sized range, and even in the large companies. So costs and costs of systems are definitely a key driver to go into the cloud. One of the other major areas is you can provide much more strategic value to a client if they're in the cloud. Traditionally, if you have to go to their office or if you have to use traditional on-premises systems, as Vishrut was mentioning, you can't easily have clients of yours seeing value in what you do. But as soon as you move to the cloud, and the cloud looks after a lot of the day-to-day routine functionality of companies, you can start to add strategic value on top of the cloud. So if clients, one of the drivers is if a client and a company wants to see more value out of their accountant, if they're on the cloud, they could start to see more value. And one of the other areas, the key driver is there's some pain points that come up in the life of any company, and when you get some pain points either in your accounting area or anywhere in your business operationally, who do you turn to and who's your trusted advisor? And one of the key drivers to get to the cloud is when you do have those pain points on the cloud, you can easily start to find trusted advisors that actually know how to help you through a cloud-based accounting system, and more so even a cloud-based business system, which is what we prefer to run our clients on, a whole business system. It's not just the accounting side, which most people think is what accountants do, but we can help clients strategically add value to their companies on a fully cloud-based business system. So those are some of the key drivers that we're seeing from our customers.
Okay, great. Barry, let me ask you a follow-up question. So when you're engaging your clients, are your clients asking if you have that cloud expertise, and also are you using that as far as selling your value, that expertise that you have in these cloud applications?
Well, most definitely back office, as you'll do, if you do just a Google search, you'll see back office rates pretty highly even under a Google search. But they'll find that back office, if they're in the NetSuite market, they'll find that back office is an expert accounting firm and a trusted advisor to many companies on NetSuite. So we use that to recruit new clients, and with the internet and with cloud computing, they can easily find out who works on certain cloud-based applications, and that tends to lead them to who are the trusted advisors and accountants that are on those systems, and that leads us to, for example, back office and to Chris's company also, to come to us and say, we need some of your help. We know already that you can help us out in these areas. And what Chris and I and other accounting firms have done is developed a target niche market, and we're in a very niche market being on the cloud. And as Chris said, I agree a lot more accountants should get into the cloud because I believe there's enough work for all of us. and but it just takes quite a huge investment in time and resources initially to get into the cloud, because it's a whole different way of thinking.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Barry. Christopher, I have a question for you. So you mentioned that your company is in the cloud as well as supporting people in the cloud. So are you actually using your cloud instance or application to help your clients, or is it that your clients are giving you access to their cloud-based applications in general?
So it's both. Internally, it's the old, eat your own dog food. We have been using cloud-based solutions internally at least since 2000, and initially we probably had about a 50-50 mix of clients that were using on-premise solutions versus cloud solutions, and that over the years has grown to we're about 90% of our clients use a cloud-based, 100% cloud-based solution. And I think one of the reasons why people are moving this way is because a lot of especially the small or mid-sized clients, a lot of these workers want to bring their own device. They want to use tablets, and the IT people, if they even have an IT department, which people don't seem to have much anymore, there's no software to install. There's no client for the financial system or the ERP. You just use a browser and you're good to go, or an app from the App Store of your mobile device, and you're good to go. So over the years, we've seen this gradually growing, and I can't see a future really for on-premise software for small or mid-sized companies. At this point, all the current on-premise providers are dedicating the vast majority of their resources into developing some sort of cloud solution. And internally, we have been using cloud-based solutions for tax, bookkeeping, accounting for both us and our clients, payroll for both us and our clients, and CRM.
Okay, great. Christopher, let me ask you a follow-up question. You mentioned, that you're using several different cloud-based applications. Can you just, how those systems speak to each other? Is it difficult to get those implemented so they kind of pass data back and forth? So you're using more than one application. So can you speak to the difficulty in having multiple systems that are in the cloud?
Well, yeah. So unfortunately, we do have some software that is really specific to our profession, such as tax prep software, and that doesn't necessarily speak to our financial accounting system internally, and sometimes it doesn't need to. But you are seeing a lot of vendors now realizing that within the profession itself, there is a market for specific accountant solutions, and they're coming out with integration or one-stop, fully integrated solutions for your practice, which I can see going forward 2 or 3 vendors that are really addressing that market. Is that the only way to go? No, because I find that now a lot of these cloud-based solutions also have middleware or integrations. They're making it a lot easier to integrate with backend, with GL, or with your CRM. So the integration already exists. So you can really get a best-of-breed solution, or you can go for a one-stop shop in some cases. And I think there's pros and cons to either method, and it really depends on the specific scenario of your business, of what industry you're in. Some people like the one-stop solution, and when it works, it's great. And some people need that third-party integration between cloud-based solutions. But that integration is now there. That's become much better over the years. Initially, integrating with the cloud-based solution was difficult, and those barriers have for the most part, been overcome.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. The next question I'd like to direct at the Vizroot. Can you speak to the value proposition in the cloud for smaller companies? I think we're seeing an adoption rate, so the smaller companies are coming to the cloud. What do you believe are the key drivers for the ROI to small companies, and why are these small companies coming in on the adoption curve now?
I mean, the primary reason that we've been discussing is that total cost of ownership. I mean, small companies, to start with, they have limited resources to focus on worrying about the IT and hardware and software maintenance. So lowering the total cost of ownership is the key driver, in the sense that the small companies, by definition, they're agile. They want to do things like they want to launch their products sooner. They want to offer their services faster. Agility is a key to their success to beat the competition, and they want to gain competitive advantage. So in order to do that, cloud enables them to do that, basically, because they cannot afford 6 to 9 months in implementation, or they cannot afford the disruption that the upgrade would provide to their business if the upgrade is going to take 6 to 9 months as well after they have implemented the software. So all these things that they consider, and that's the key driver for adoption for small companies to go to cloud. They don't need to have the expertise in-house. They just want to run their business. They have limited resources. They don't want to dedicate resources to maintaining hardware. So these are the key benefit and advantages for small companies to go to cloud, because the vendor takes care of all these things.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I'd like to direct our next question to Barry. What are the biggest concerns that you hear from your clients in moving or leveraging applications in the cloud?
Yeah, one of the biggest areas and pain points of moving systems to the cloud is most accounting firms are not up to the cloud yet. So they're on QuickBooks or Great Plains or other software systems, and the accounting firms know those systems. But here we have small businesses, small and growing companies that want to gain agility and move to the cloud. And their pain point and frustration point is there's others, like their trusted advisors, that aren't up to speed on that. So definitely that the whole community around supporting these small and growing companies needs to be cloud-based and needs to be used to the cloud. And the companies that are coming into the cloud, they do really have to spend some learning curve and some significant amount of time just getting comfortable with the cloud applications, because a lot of the salespeople will say they're intuitive and you can be up and running within a few hours. When it comes down to it, we as humans, we don't like change all that much, and there's a lot of human change management going around with cloud applications. And so those are some of the key things we've noticed with some of the just hesitations in getting into the cloud, and everyone likes to do things like they did it yesterday. And QuickBooks and Great Plains and other on-premises software have typically done the basics of what companies need, and they don't necessarily want to change, and they don't want to take the risks. So those are the companies that I believe, like I think has been implied here earlier, is if you're going to be on on-premises software in a few years, you probably won't even be surviving, and you will not be around if you're on-premises software in a few years from now. So I think everyone's got to bite the bullet and go to the cloud and do it in the best way for their company or their accounting firm needs.
Okay, great. Thank you. Christopher, I'd like to ask you the same question. What are the biggest concerns that your clients have in moving to the cloud or leveraging applications in the cloud? And I'll kind of also ask this question. Do you believe that security is still one of those concerns?
You know, I haven't heard a lot from clients saying that the general security is an issue. most clients nowadays are used to doing doing their banking online, and they're used to those issues, and I haven't really seen that as being a huge concern. The application level security is a concern, I guess, in terms of who can access what data within the application, because once it's in the cloud, you're more easily able to give people access to the system in terms of, hey, I don't have to install this on your local PC, and I don't have to jump through hoops to give you some sort of license to get on the system. So more people are able. Usually, it's easier to get people to access the system, and then you have to start thinking about application level security and what do I want people to see and how do I control that. And I think from each cloud solution has really broad range of controls over that. Some have very little, where you're not going to be able to control the granularity of security very much, but others have very granular security capabilities. And if that's one of your requirements, if you care, if that's important to you from a control standpoint, then you need to look at a solution that offers the sort of application security that you need. The other concerns are I don't really know if there's training. I guess is always an issue in terms of, hey, I'm used to doing this using my traditional on-premise, QuickBooks is the typical example. But it's not really a matter of training on the system. It's more of a training on, the accounting doesn't necessarily change, or the business processes don't necessarily change, just the method of doing it in the specific software that you're using. So to me, the training curve is a lot easier because you can do it remotely. They can, you don't have to go on site and walk through stuff. And, if you allow your clients to contact you anytime, well, not any time of day, but, if you have some flexibility and they can, ping you on a moment's notice about a question about this or that, the training aspect becomes a lot easier. So that's generally the two issues, are training and security, but more at the application level for us.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. I'm going to direct my next question to Barry, initially to Barry, then I'll ask for your comments as well. Barry, what are the biggest benefits, both expected and maybe more interestingly unexpected, that you've seen your clients realize in moving their applications to the cloud, and what are the biggest benefits on those same fronts that you've been able to offer if they are in the cloud and allowing you to leverage that technology?
Great, thanks, Ernie. And just bouncing on top of that security concern, if companies or accounting firms have a question about security, they're scared about security of the cloud, ask them two questions. Where's your on-premises server right now? And if I know where it is, I can come and get it, and there goes your security, and there goes all your data. Second question is, do I have millions of dollars to spend on security? Those companies that are in the cloud have already spent the millions of dollars on security, making sure their systems are secure. So I don't think there's a lot of small businesses, small growing companies, even mid-size, and any accounting firms that have the millions of dollars to spend on security that cloud-based systems do have already spent. So those two questions I ask about security, and that sometimes really opens up the company CEO's eyes and says, yeah, you're right, I never thought of it that way. So, but to answer the question about benefits, and expected benefits and unexpected benefits, expected ones are that it's going to be lower cost, and companies can achieve lower cost accounting services and business services through the cloud. They can receive the benefits of on-time, anytime, anywhere results of their financials and their processes. They can know instantly where they are as a business. The unexpected results are ones that maybe they were hoping for or they didn't even know existed. And what can happen is some companies have been used to paying for accounting staff, maybe 4 or 5 accounting staff, and what happens is they can either redirect those staff into other areas where they can gain some value from them in sales and marketing and some other areas in the company, or when those staff, when they have turnover, they can choose not to replace those staff in any of the departments when they're on a cloud-based system. So their unexpected benefits are they were hoping to save some money, and they were hoping to save money on the accounting side and on some other sides of the business in the warehouse for their inventory. But the unexpected benefits are that they can save a lot of payroll if they do things properly and move from an on-premises system into a cloud-based system and have staff anywhere they wish to reside. Especially on the sales side, they can have sales staff in different states and different countries and still access the same data. And the companies are not going to realize these benefits until they jump into the cloud, and they can be told what the benefits may be and can be, but until they see it with their own eyes, it's pretty incredible to watch clients during web meetings and during interaction with them just the light starts to go on as to how much they're actually gaining from cloud computing.
Okay, great. Thank you very much, Barry. Christopher, I'd like to pose the question to you as far as the biggest benefits, both unexpected and unexpected, that your clients are realizing and moving to the cloud.
Well, I think the expected benefits of anytime, anywhere access is not surprising. That just makes things so much easier in terms of being able to access your data from wherever and whenever. Unfortunately, I guess the side effect of that is that it's hard to escape your work sometimes. From an unexpected side, I think the uptime is a surprise to some people in that they're in the early days, you know, some of these cloud-based solutions had a lot more downtime. You know, the system was down for whatever reason, but now they're so reliable. I almost, you know, I can't even remember the last time something like NetSuite was down for any prolonged period of time. And internally, they're used to, hey, you know, our system's down because we're doing some maintenance or we're applying some upgrades. So I think once they start using cloud-based solution, they're finding, wow, we don't even care about the downtime because it's just not going to happen. The other thing is being able to move faster in terms of month or quarterly closes. They don't have to wait for you know, your input for you to show up on site and help them do a close when you know, you can be working remotely on 4 or 5 of your clients closing at month end, and you can, if you're smart, you plan it out even before that. You plan it out 10 or 15 days before month end, and you can do like a rolling close, and that is that's usually a surprise to them because they're used to, you know, getting back to them, you know, halfway through the next month saying, hey, are we closed yet? Are we closed yet? And it just makes closing schedule so much more efficient.
Great. Thank you very much. I'm going to go ahead and launch our final polling question as I ask the final question to Vizroot. What's next in terms of cloud-based applications and programs to promote cloud adoption across companies of all sizes?
What's next is basically, you know, in a sense, like companies to adopt cloud, looking at the real benefit that customers are receiving, basically, in the sense like, companies are moving to cloud. There's no question about that. It's not a fad. It's a trend that's happening, and we see over time is growing. So companies have to embrace this, and it's not that they have to embrace this, because in a sense that, like Chris and Barry were saying, if you are an on-premise software solution, there's not much of a future there. So companies need to make this switch, and they need to realize the benefit that they're going to get. So for companies that are looking to evaluate that, do their due diligence, figure out the vendor that's right for them, and look at the customer testimonials, and look at the case studies that they have done, and all the examples of the TCO and the ROI that we were just talking about. Evaluate that. So companies, and you'll quickly come to a conclusion that cloud is the way to go, and it's the future. Like I said, in Silicon Valley, that's where I live, there aren't any on-premise companies that are getting funded. All companies that are coming here, software companies are cloud software companies going forward, and even the existing on-premise software providers are quickly scrambling to move to cloud. So that's the future.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Just a few closing comments. As a reminder, you'll be asked to take a short survey once we conclude the webinar. Greatly appreciate your feedback. And please join us on Performative.com to ask any additional questions and to continue the conversation with your peers and the experts we heard from today. A big thank you to Vishru, Barry, and Chris for their time and insights. They're clearly thought leaders in their field and an excellent source of information on today's topics. Note in the post-webinar survey, you'll have the opportunity to express your interest in being connected with either or both speakers or our sponsor, NetSuite, with just one or a few mouse clicks. A thank you again to today's sponsor, NetSuite. And finally, a big thank you to the audience for your valuable time. Everyone, I'd like to wish you to make the rest of your day great. We hope to see you again soon at another Performative event or online at www.performative.com. Thank you very much.